I'd like to welcome you all to the college education series for the Hawaii State Junior Golf Association. This is our second get together. We got together back in mid-October, and we hope that everyone enjoyed our first session. We had Mary B. and Dean Frischknecht from the Ping American College Golf Guide. So for those of you that weren't on the webinar, Dean operates the Ping American College Golf Guide, which is the main resource available to prospective student athletes. And Dean, obviously, I want to thank you so much for being here again. Dean's had a lot of experience with college coaches and helping parents and students over the years. And basically, after last month's session, we had a bunch of people join and get memberships with the Ping American College Golf Guide. And so the game plan tonight is to spend kind of 25 minutes or so with Dean taking us through the back end of the guide and his website, and hopefully giving you a great place to start where you can answer some of your questions. And then we'll see how much time we have left once Dean has done a bit of a review, and we will be able to either take questions on the webinar tonight, or we'll be able to follow up with everyone. So I'm just going to try to allow Dean to share his web page here. So I'm just going to hand it over.
Okay, I don't know if you can see me right now. Can you see me, Matt?
Not yet, no. So you'll have to, I think you'll have to turn on your webcam again.
I see my webcam, I'm on.
Okay, so can you click on share your screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So there you are. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Dean. I'll hand it over to you, and if you want to take us through your side of the website, that would be fantastic.
Okay, I'm Dean Frischknecht, and I have been working with this Ping Guide project for 30 years. I wrote 15 books in 15 years, and for the last 15, it's been totally online. And Ping has been my sponsor on this. I've worked with the college coaches for all those 30 years. And every year the college coaches invite me to their convention. So in about 2.5 weeks, I'll be heading for Las Vegas again for 4 days for the College Golf Coaches Convention. I'm gonna go right now to my website. I'm gonna bring my website up. And when you go to collegegolf.com, this is what you will see. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look over here on the left-hand menu where it says Ping Guide Member Login, and I'm gonna click that icon, and then we're gonna log in. And we're gonna log in as me. It's kind of set right here to put me in. And are you seeing that okay, Matt?
Yes, I am.
Okay, very good. So the first thing you do when you get logged into the Ping College Golf Guide, you see the welcome right here where my cursor is. Let's drop down a little bit. If you ever want to change your password, you can change your password right here. But then let's drop down one more line and set a profile. This is a private profile to you. No one can see it, and it is the main thing to show you where you fit in to a college golf program. So my name is going to show on here. If you log in as you, your name is going to show on here. So we're going to log in, say 16-year-old Dean Frischknecht. I'm going to type in, say I'm averaging 76, and I'm going to put 6,800 yards, and I'm going to select male, and then I'm going to save the profile. Now that profile can be changed 10 times a day if you want to, but this is what we're going to use right now to go through here. So the profile has been changed. Now I'm going to take you up in the top menu bar up here to the table of contents. There's all kinds of things on here. Some things you're going to be interested in and some things you're not going to be interested in. But the first place I'm going to go is on the left-hand side here. to the NCAA guide for the college-bound student athlete. The NCAA guide for the college-bound student athlete. This will be extremely important to you on figuring out everything from eligibility to letter of intent, testing, and recruiting. And I'm waiting for this to populate here. Okay, that's the NCAA Eligibility Center. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Here's the table of contents for the NCAA guide for the college-bound student athlete. Over on the left-hand side, some of the most important things, we talked about it last time I was on in October. What is a core course? Extremely important. You're going to have to know what your core courses are so that when you graduate, you're going to be eligible, number one, to get into the school that you want to get into, and number two, so you can be eligible to compete as a freshman. Then over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to point on the academic standards. Down about 18 pages, it says the Division I sliding scale. I'm going to scroll down to that. It's a sliding scale that shows what your SAT or ACT score must be in correlation with your high school GPA, so that it'll show you whether you're eligible to compete as a freshman. Now these numbers, let this populate right here. These numbers, when this show, these are right here. Well, I have missed it. The numbers that it shows what your SAT or ACT would be in a sliding scale against your grade point average. Now, this has nothing to do with you being accepted by the school. It has to do with your eligibility to compete as a freshman. Now, here's the sliding scale right here. The higher your grade point average, the lower your SAT or ACT score can be, and vice versa. And if you don't qualify, they label you here as an academic red shirt. In other words, you could not compete in Division I. So then you have to scroll down a little further and look to see where you would fit in on Division II. This is a sliding scale here for NCAA Division II. And the requirements, the academic requirements for Division II are lower than to compete in Division I. And again, these numbers have nothing to do with your admission to a college or university. It has to do with your eligibility to compete as a student athlete as a freshman. So that's the guide for the college-bound student athlete. A lot of information on there, and it's very important that you'll want to see that. I'm going to close that one. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on something called the college golf rating chart over here. This has information right here. Every time you visit a school, you should fill out one of these charts on what is important to you. And each person is going to be writing different things on here because some things are going to be more important to each player. And you're going to want to fill one of these rating charts out so that you know what you thought the day you were in school, because if you visit 3 or 4 schools, by the time you get done with the 3rd or 4th school, you're not going to remember what happened at the 1st or 2nd school if you don't write these things down. So this is going to be very important to help you decide where you want to go if you're visiting multiple schools. There's all kinds more things on the left-hand menu, some that you'll be interested in, some you're not, and I'm going to let you choose those by yourself. Now let's move up on the top menu bar up here and let's click on School Search. Now let's do a search. Let's say we're going to search just for Hawaii. So on here it defaults to men. If you want to select women, you put select women. It defaults to 4-year. So let's go to the state box and scroll down, and we're going to highlight Hawaii. So before I click the search button down here, I've asked it to show us all the 4-year men's programs in the state of Hawaii. So we click search, and there they are. Now, let's figure out where 16-year-old Dean Frischknecht scores were going to be. And let's click first. Let's click on Hawaii Hilo. Now there's the score from every tournament that they played in a year ago, and here's every tournament they played in this fall. So let's pick the last tournament that Hawaii Hilo played in. They played in the Dennis Rose Invitational, which was at Waikoloa. You guys know that golf course. So they played this at 7,074 yards, and the profile is in, my profile is in at 6,800 yards. So that's almost 300 yards longer. I dug into the USGA manual for course rating, and they assign yardage value. And I plugged that into here, I programmed that into here. Yardage value extrapolates out to slightly less than 1 stroke per 200 yards for low handicap men, slightly over 1 stroke per 200 yards for low handicap women. So in your mind, you're just looking at this, just think that yardage value is 1 stroke per 200 yards. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bump you up about 1.5 shots based on here. But I'm going to click how would I place in this tournament. As soon as that page refreshes, I'm going to go down and find my name in the results. And there's my scores right there. Now I put my profile in at 76, but it shows me 79, 78, 77. So we bumped up about 1.5 shots based on yardage differential. And then with golf stat scoring, I know what every player shoots in every round. So before this tournament tees off, I know what the scoring average is for this field for the year. And the scoring average for this field for the year, if it's 75, but the field comes in with a scoring average of 77 the first round. I know the golf court played 2 shots tougher because they shot 2 shots over their season average. So I'd bump 16-year-old Dean up 2 shots on the scores being 2 shots higher, and then a bump up 1.5 shots based on yardage differential. And that is pretty close to how that score got from 70, my profile got from 76 to 79. I can tell the golf court played 2 shots easier in round 3. Now the important thing here, you're trying to figure out where you fit in with Hawaii Hilo. So let's start up to the top on the individuals here. Hawaii Hilo came in, they came in 6 out of 16 schools, but let's figure out where my scores would have fit in with the Hilo players, because that determines whether or not you're going to be able to play there. So let's count how many players from Hilo finished ahead of me. I've got Andrew at 5. I've got Warren at 13. I've got Noah at 47. I've got Evan at 49. So four players. Looks like I'm tied right here with player number 5. So that means I'm not exactly a prime prospect for Hilo. But let's check another tournament. They played in the Concordia Invitational. They played at Columbia Edgewater. This is a great golf course. The LPGA and the PGA Tour have both been played on this golf course. So let's click how would I place. Scores 75, 76, or 76, 75, 76. The thing we want to do is check how many players from Hawaii Hilo finished ahead of me here. We've got Warren at 25. Whoa, see in this tournament, I would have finished 2nd for Hawaii Hilo. So this is what you do. You look at any school, you've got your profile in there. You can look at any school, you go through their entire schedule, and it will show you how your scores match up to the scores on that team. And coaches at very competitive programs, they're looking to recruit players that they project will play number 1 or number 2 or number 3. They've already got a team full of 4s and 5s, so they're not looking to recruit any more number 4s or number 5s. They know that if they keep recruiting 1s and 2s and 3s, some of those 1s and 2s and 3s will play 4 and 5. So now let's take a look. Let's go back and look at the Hawaii Hilo page. And let's scroll up. Let's take a look at what the roster is. at Hawaii Hilo right now. So I've got a link up at the top here. It says Men's Golf Program. Let's click that. It's moving a little slow, but that link will take us right to the Hawaii Hilo men's golf page, and you can click on the roster. There it is. Let's find the roster and see what the roster looks like. You can do this with any school. You can go up to the top of the page. You can click on the team page, and you can look at the roster, and you can see who is on that who's on the current roster. Now you can also go up to the top menu bar and up to the top of the page, and you can click on the university, and that will take you, that's a link that takes you right to the university website. Now let's go down to the very bottom down here, and here is academic information for Hawaii Hilo, and this is on every team page on this website. You can see what the average SAT and ACT scores are. When you're looking on here, the SAT, the verbal part, they've changed to EBRW, which stands for evidence-based reading and writing. That's the verbal part, and then the math is over here. When it says 2575 percentile, that's the middle 50% of the freshman class last year at Hawaii Hilo. If your score was below 940, if your SAT was below 940, you would be in the bottom 25%. If you're between 940 and 1140, you're between 25 and 75 percentile, right in the middle of the freshman class. If your SAT score is above 1140, you'd be in the upper 25%. And that's the same down here for the ACT. This is important because it shows you where you can fit in. And then we've got a list of all the available majors that they have at that school. So when you do your school searches, if you want to look at some of the women's teams, you just select women on here. And let's say I'm gonna go to Oregon because there are several girls from Hawaii that come over to specifically George Fox University every year. So I'm going to click Oregon. So we've selected women. It defaults to 4-year, and we've selected Oregon. I'm going to click search. It's going to bring up all the 4-year women's teams in the state of Oregon. And George Fox is one of the top Division III schools in the United States for golf. Now, there's the tournaments they played in the last year. This was a year ago. This is what they played in the fall. Now let's go up and take a look at the roster at George Fox University, because I'm pretty sure we're going to find some girls from Hawaii on there. Going to click on roster right here. I see one, I see two, I see 3 girls from the state of Hawaii competing there. Now this is a very strong team, and it's a good academic university. So don't be afraid to look and see where you fit in. Let's go back and look at some of the scores. They play in the Northwest Conference. I'm going to click on their conference championship from last year. Now let's change the profile to a 16-year-old girl on here. My name is going to show up because that's my name is programmed to this program. But on if you're a member of this, your name is the one that's going to show up. So let's say you're shooting 77 from, I'm pretty sure Matt and Mary B have you playing from about 6,000 yards. And we're going to select female. So let's say you're scoring average 77 from 6,000 yards. We're going to save that profile, and you can change that as many times as you want. Now we're going to hit the back arrow a couple of times and get back to that tournament and click how would I place. Whoa. Tied for first right there. So, and look at the George Fox players right there. And you probably recognize some of those names. So with that kind of a scoring average, you could qualify, you could easily come in and play very well on a very strong George Fox team. But let's do something else. Let's click on school search again. I'm going to bring up a different state. I'm going to select women. Now I'm going to select California. And I'm going to select Division 2 and Division 3 because 77s is not going to cut it in Division 1. So over here I selected NCAA Division 2. I selected Division 3. I've got women and 4-year and California. So when I click search, I want it to show us all the Division 2 and 3 teams in the state of California for women. Now here's Monterey Bay. If you're a golfer, you know where Monterey Bay is. So let's click on Cal State University of Monterey Bay. They play in what is called the California Collegiate Athletic Association. That's the Division 2 schools in the state of California. So let's see how 16-year-old would have done shooting 77s. Pretty good. So if you're looking at Cal State Monterey Bay, that's CSU MB for Monterey Bay, you would have tied their number 2 player. No, tied number 3, because here's number 1 and number 2 and number 3. So you'd be a good prime prospect for Cal State Monterey Bay or any of the 2-year schools in California, or 3-year schools in California too. Cal State San Marcos, they finished 1, 2, and 3. They lost the final day of NCAA Division II championship, an extremely strong Division II team. So let's go over to, let's do one more search on school search here. If I scroll down to the very bottom of the page, it says expanded program. We can do searches on here. We can put majors you're looking for. You can put your SAT or your ACT scores in here. Scoring average to bring up some possible matches. And once in a while, I have a parent call me and say, I cannot get any results on this expanded detailed search. And I'd say, how many fields did you fill in? And they said, well, I selected something in every field. I tell them, well, what you've done is you've eliminated all the possibilities. So when you use this search, just start out with 1 or 2 things. And if you want to narrow it down more, then you can select more fields. But this will show you where you match up. You can select majors, SAT and ACT scores, scoring average. You can do all kinds of searches on here. Now I'm going to do one more. I'm going to go to the GolfStat prep report, but before I hand this back over to Matt, I'm going to click on main on this top menu bar. And I get all the scores from GolfStat. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. I've got links here. One of the links right here is to the GolfStat Prep Report member login. Now I own the Ping College Golf Guide. GolfStat Prep Report is separately owned from me. So you have to log in again with your own information, your own login and password. So I'm going to log in. And let's say that I'm going to look at the men's reports and say I'm going to select California. If I hold down my control key, I can select more than one state. I'll select Hawaii and California. And now I'm going to go down to the very bottom. I'm going to put a click in this box that said check to use scoring filter. I'm going to change player number 1 to player number 3. And I'm going to put a dot in less than. And in this box, I'm going to type in, what did we put? 76 was what I put for a scoring average on this profile. So I've got 2 states highlighted here for a men's report, Hawaii and California. And I want to see how many teams in California and Hawaii where the number 3 player has a scoring average lower than 76. So I'm going to click search on here. And I go down to the very bottom. Wow, 56 schools between California and Hawaii, men's teams, where the number 3 player, you can look on here, every one of these number 3s has a scoring average lower than 76.0. So, pardon me, and how you read this is, let's look at the top school here, Cal State Monterey Bay, Division is Division II. The state is California. They're ranked the number 25 school in Division II so far this year. Tournaments played, so far they've played 3 tournaments. They played 9 rounds. The number 1 player is a junior, scoring average 72. Number 2 player is a senior, scoring average 72.5. Number 3, a senior, scoring average 74.60. And everybody down this number 3 line, when we'd ask them to do the search, we wanted every one of these teams to have the number 3 player scoring lower than 76.0. So you can do all kinds of searches on here with this GolfStat prep report. So that's a lot of information. Now I'm going to go back and do one thing here. I've showed you a lot of things. Right below on the welcome page, right below welcome, it says learn how to get the most from the Ping Guide website. Let's click on here. And here's some static on here. Now, in the next few weeks, I'm going to do some videos and post on here, but before the videos get on here, if you want to find out how to do that, say the GolfStat prep report, you log in, you select either men's or women's programs, you hold down what states you're looking for, and you put a check in that checkbox down at the bottom, select player number 3, greater than, less than, and it shows you how to do the searches. This is static information. We're going to end up doing some videos so you can see it quicker, and that will help you navigate this program. Now I'm going to take this back over to Matt right now for some questions, Matt, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Dean, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. I think I'd prefer to just maybe keep you going for a couple more minutes, because I think it's pretty rare to have you kind of give this feedback or this orientation of your site. One specific that might be a good area to just kind of fill everybody in would be like, what do you have on your site for how to best communicate with coaches?
Okay, I'm gonna click on my website here.
And I think you've done a fantastic job here. Like, this really takes a lot of the guesswork and the research out of it for all of these parents. It's so easy to go to a school now, see where you fit in, see what the tuition is, see what the SAT scores. So I think you're really helping people kind of over that first hurdle.
Okay, let's go back to my main page here. And I'm going to click on table of contents, and I'm going to look over on the left hand side over here where it says sample letters and resume. This is one of the best ways to communicate with the coaches. I have some sample letters on here written for me by John Means, who was the head golf coach at University of Minnesota, and he was president of the Golf Coaches Association. He wrote these sample letters for me, and I've got some notes on here that says, use your own words, make yourself stand out from the crowd. You've got the samples here, but coaches will tease me. I've been working with the coaches for 30 years, and they tell me, we get letters sometimes and the kids have just filled in the blanks on here. So use your own words, make yourself stand out from the crowd, and when you're contacting the coach, put a couple of sentences in there on why you're writing to his or her school. I guarantee you the parents I'm talking to right now, you know when you're mass mailed, when you receive something in the mail or email and it looks like it's been sent, it could be sent to 100 people, it probably has. So put something in your letter to the coach on why you're writing to their school. It could be you're following their football or the basketball team. It could be you're following the golf team. It could be that you notice where the golf team finished in certain tournaments, but just something in there so the coach knows you're writing to him or her. Then if you're looking to play and compete at a Division I or Division II school, the coaches, especially in Division I, they're going to want to see you play. So somewhere in here, let the coach know what your schedule is. If you've made Junior Americas, or if you've made Hogan Cup, or if you're going to play in an AJGA tournament or anywhere on the mainland, let the coaches know when and where you're going to play so they can come see you. If a coach is going to a tournament, maybe he's got two players, he or she's got two players that they're going to see at this tournament. If you have let the coach know that you're going to be there, then the coach has your name on there that coach wants to see also. And the other thing to do, if you establish a communication with a coach, one of the things you want to do is every time something good happens, just send a 1 or 2 sentence email to the coach. Dear coach, here's my semester grades. Dear coach, here's my ACT or my SAT scores. Coach, I played in a tournament last week. Here's my scores. I shot 77, 74. I came in third out of 43 players, and here's the scores. What that does, it lets the coach know that you're still interested. Lots of times, kids will, I'll say kids, I got kids, so I can call you guys kids. Kids will write to a coach. The coach will send out a form that you fill out and submit back to the coach. Then the coach will never hear from that player again. The coach is thinking, is this player interested in me or not? So if you communicate with the coach regularly, not a big long letter, just a few sentences, the coach said, yeah, this player, they are interested in me. So if you have established a communication, write to those coaches. And parents and young players right now, when you guys are watching your favorite TV programs, every week you say the same advertisers sponsoring those TV programs. And Madison Avenue is where advertising comes from. Madison Avenue, New York is where the advertisers are. They know what works. So you do what Madison Avenue teaches. Keep sending a little note to the coaches just to make sure that the coach has you in their mind. So anything more, Matt? What are we thinking?
I think that's perfect for now, Dean. I just wanted to add to something you just said about some of the events that are out there that coaches are in attendance. And I think it's important that everybody on the call and our members just remember that USGA championships and the US Junior boys and girls, that's where you're going to see a majority of these coaches. They really follow that leaderboard and those championships. So our members should really be playing in the USGA qualifiers, and the more kids that are at our qualifiers, the more spots we'll get in the championship. So just something there to consider. I think we'll probably wrap it up, Dean. I did just want to say a couple more things. For those who haven't gotten their membership with the Ping College Golf Guide, please let us know. Contact us in the office. Dean has extended this offer to us for $20 a person. So that's a big reduction. I believe it's $80 a person regularly. So a great member benefit, Dean, that you've been very generous in extending to us. Also, the webinar will be posted on our website in a password protected area. So you'll be able to go back on and listen to the webinar again and kind of follow some of the areas that Dean showed us. And again, Dean, I think it was just fantastic for you to walk us through how much time and energy your site can really save for our members. I think there's so much good information there, and it's pretty unique, I think, to have you on the line talking to a group like this. So thank you so much for your time, Dean. And I just want to let everybody know on the call as well that our next webinar will be set for Monday, December the 9th. We'll feature Mary B. Porter King once again, and we will also have a coach from the Pac-12 talking about the whole process from the coach's viewpoint, what a coach is looking for in a player and that type of thing. So thank you very much to everyone that logged on today, and we look forward to speaking with you all in December. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt.